You're on a retro trek with the caramel apples, the apple snack that brings you a retro vibe both crunchy and sweet, with your hosts Kennedy Rizzo and Cooper Lee.
Blanche Devereaux.
So, once again, we're back for our next featured guest, which is Blanche Devereaux.
Blanche.
So, if you've been listening to us for a while, you know that we are big fans of the Golden Girls.
Yep.
We showcased them for our season finale. We've already reached back and touched on Rose. And if you've listened to other episodes of us, you'll hear us kind of throwing in some of the remarks they would make, you know, because they were like just gold, right? The Golden Girls were gold.
And we're nuts.
And we're nuts, yes.
Oh, all too glad to bring that offering to the table.
Yeah. So we're hoping you're here for another good time, you know, talking about the wonderful character of Blanche Devereaux. She was quite colorful.
She was.
How colorful there, Kennard?
Very all capital letters, highlighted in bright pink. Shall I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Well, Blanche was played by the talented Rue McClanahan, who, you know, she just had a very spunky, bubbly presence about her. I think she was in other shows, of course. I mean, she was a veteran actress.
Yeah.
But what she brought to the table within the realm of the Golden Girls was just nothing but this just pure energy, pure enjoyment.
Yes.
She started out in the pilot episode. Mm-hmm. So kind of like their whole thing started around Blanche and her relationships.
Yeah.
And that pilot episode had it where she was going to get married to some rich, hoity-toity businessman, some business mogul. And he was whining and dining her, and she was just ready to, you know, and the girls just got together. This was all understood.
Right.
They had just got together as roommates, and they were all getting cozied in and feeling good about their arrangement. And she's like, boom, I'm engaged, I'm getting married.
Yes.
And they were like, well, what are we going to do? And Rosie was said, oh my goodness, Dorothy, that means we're homeless. You know, like, she always takes it to the next level.
Yes.
But long story short, you know, that relationship didn't work out. And they end up, you know, because, I mean, Sophia, we'll get to her too. Another apple snack. But she enters into that one.
Yeah.
So you can see quickly how the four came together to make what we know as the Golden Girls.
Which is classic, right?
It
because
is.
Here, this would be major. They're all embarking on this life major change.
Yes.
And then it almost got upended again. And yet, they survived it and they worked through it together. So it really did bring that whole full circle.
Yes.
Like it just made it, okay, we're in for a nice, good time. You know, they're always going to be there for each other.
Yeah.
And as we said before, they all had that individual personality that was cast very well. So whether they just brought themselves into the character or the character was just very well written to fit their personality, they just were very believable.
They were.
All of them.
Watching them is a guaranteed good time.
Yes.
Like you were saying though, like their chemistry was good because of their individual personalities meshing well together.
Right.
Which, if you check out our episode of the Golden Girls, there was actually some hidden gems of knowledge about how that wasn't always what it appeared.
Right. So they were professional.
They went back to being professional.
Yep.
But they had a job to do, and that was to make their fans and their audience happy and give them something to make warm, nostalgic memories on. But Blanche, like her spicy character, spicy is a good word.
Yeah.
She had like the southern drawl, like she was supposed to be from Georgia.
Yeah.
So she brought that whole I'm a mature Scarlett O'Hara vibe.
I'm a Southern belle, yeah.
And she always had a different date. She was like a little sex pot or whatever. Like she dressed nice.
Yeah.
She was like she brought classy to the table. Yeah, she got around. But Blanche had money, and she had class. She wanted everybody to know that Blanche Devereaux reigned supreme.
And she really did have a lot of confidence, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Like, even in the friend group themselves, like, they probably just, okay, there's a guy entering the room, Blanche gets first dibs. Like, they didn't even have to, they might have all thought he was handsome, but you know what? We'll wait and make sure she doesn't want him first.
Right.
And then we'll move.
Right. She did, like, again, the girls were her best friends. And they would eat cheesecake together in the kitchen, have nice, very warm mature girl squad moments.
Yes.
But, her backstory was that she was married to George Devereaux. Mm-hmm. I think he died, too. Was it a car accident that they kind of explained that?
I think so.
I think so,
kind
too.
Kind of hazy on that one.
Because she said that the cop called her and said that, ma'am, I think your husband just passed. And she said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, something. She goes, he was eating chips on the phone. Like, she was trying to explain, like, she goes, here, you're just telling me my husband died and you're eating potato chips,
Yeah.
How rude.
Yes.
But, so George was referenced a lot in over the seasons.
Yeah.
Also, that made actual appearances was her mom in one. Who I think was understood the episode she was in, that she was in a home.
Yes.
And dealing with Alzheimer's or dementia.
Okay. Because she goes back home to visit, doesn't she?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes. And all those people, her surname was Hollingsworth.
Yes.
So, which kind of ended the whole Golden Girl season, because of her uncle and all that stuff. But her dad, his name was Curtis Big Daddy Hollingsworth. She'll be like, Big Daddy. She'll be like, Big Daddy. And actually, I think Big Daddy was played by two different actors. So, of course, they were both okay. But the one that we liked was, who was that? It was the mayor from Jaws. Yeah, he did a good job.
Yes. Mr. Hamilton.
Yes. Was it Larry Vaughn? No, that was him and Jaws, wasn't it?
I think so.
Mayor Vaughn. That was Big Daddy. And then her mom's name was Elizabeth Ann, Big Mommy. Mm-hmm. And then I think she had a stepmother in there. I don't remember. I can't recall her being in any of them. But then she had a sister. She had a few sisters. Virginia, who came one episode sick. And she was begging Blanche to think about, giving her a kidney. And
they were kind of like estranged, too. Like, they weren't on best of terms. So, that was a big ask for somebody you don't even really talk too much. Yeah.
And Blanche let that be known. She didn't appreciate that much.
Right.
She also had another sister named Charmaine, who they were at odds, too. I think Blanche was a little bit narcissistic.
Yes.
I think she planted grenades under everybody in her family, or was she the grenade? Then she had some kids. I think she had a couple brothers too, Tad and Clayton. Okay. Which Clayton showed up with a surprise for her. Which she's very traditional. She didn't like what he had to say, but anyway, gotta check that out. But then she's got Janet as a daughter, Rebecca, which they showed them, Biff, B-I-F-F, Devereaux, as a son, Douglas, Matthew, and then she had a whole host of, she had a big family, whole host, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, aunt and uncles, I think they may have just been baked into her backstory, or they may have shown them here and there, but, she had a lot of family.
Yeah. And then she even ended up with a not stepson. Well, yeah, he would have been like a stepson.
Yeah?
Yeah. Remember there was that episode where her husband had a relationship with someone.
Oh,
and
yes.
Yeah, the son shows up and wants to know about his dad.
Yes.
So here that was an unexpected twist in her life. But
yeah, and again, Blanche got around, but it was understood that George was her person.
Yes.
She loved her husband.
Yes.
I miss that. I wish times were more like that in general.
Oh,
because the love isn't there for a lot of people the world over. The culture is different.
Yeah.
But I like how they portrayed that solid connection that they had with their person, even though they passed on or
yes,
got divorced or whatever, because we know who got divorced. I think
yes.
One got divorced, the other one's there's legitimately passed on.
Yeah.
But actually, one of my favorite episodes. There's a couple I like Blanche. She's a mess.
She is.
Remember, I like the one called Ladies of the Evening or Ladies of the Night.
Okay.
And they were going to go out to a concert or something. The three. Because Sophia was mad they didn't take her. But she ended up becoming key for what happened.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they go down there to a seedy hotel on Miami Beach, just go get a couple drinks, to start off their evening.
Yes.
And it was a sting operation for Ladies of the Night, real Ladies of the Night.
Yes.
They're right up in the middle of that mug.
Now, remind me, refresh my memory. Was this to see Burt Lancaster? Not Burt Lancaster.
Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds.
Yes.
There it is. It was another Burt.
That's right. It was a charity evening.
Yes.
Burt Reynolds was going to be there.
Burt Reynolds, yes.
And Blanche got all this going because she's the one that got the tickets. She wanted to go get drinks first. Let's start this evening out right.
Yeah.
The sting operation landed them. They rounded everybody up in the hotel lobby and took them to jail.
Yes, I totally remember this.
This was a good one.
It was.
So then they start biting at each other and getting mad because they're like, if you wouldn't have, and just playing the blame game. They end up having to call Sophia, who was salty and held it over their head that she didn't invite them. Oops. They did not invite Sophia. And that episode actually ended because it was about Burt Reynolds, he made a guest appearance.
So love that.
Yeah. And they were like, Ma! Like, Dorothy could have killed her mama. She had a way of digging at him.
Oh, yeah. And it's like she would keep them in her back pocket, right? Like she's like, I'll just store that one and I got that. I got a zinger for you. Just you wait and see.
Yes.
Sophia was a mess.
She was. Yeah. How big was she? Like two big toes tall? I don't know. Maybe just one.
But she was the constant explosion in that house.
She really was. Never a shortage of laugh. We'll get to Sophia Petrillo. She is a mess.
Yes, absolutely.
So what was another episode that you enjoyed with Blanche?
I would have to say there's so many.
There really are.
But I love the key moments where Blanche would just deliver a line. And I do remember there was one where, she would come up with these ideas because, we know that she had a thing for the men. Like that was no secret.
Yes.
And she would come up with ways of how to meet them. So in one episode, she's like, well, I'm just going to hang out at the hardware store and meet guys. And another thing, she put in an ad in the paper.
Okay.
So the phone rings. Dorothy answers the phone. And she's like, no, we don't, there's no car for sale here. So then Blanche.
Which one you're talking about?
Yeah, she comes over. She's like, give me the phone. So she's like, the car has been sold. So, of course, then Dorothy and Sophia are looking very confused about what's going on.
Right.
And Blanche is like, she's like, yeah, I figured out a way to meet men. Rich, eligible bachelors. She has rented a Mercedes, a two-door Mercedes, put it for sale so that men would come. And she could just decipher out of that.
That's terrible.
Who she wanted to date. Well, obviously, that gets upended because they're showing up. They want the car, though. This is really not for sale. And she's like, I don't know what to do.
Oh, my God.
And that's what I love about this.
Yes.
We're talking about 30 minutes of sheer laughter. There's some crying sometimes, but it's like sheer laughter most of the time.
Yeah, easily.
Because they get themselves in these problems.
They really do.
And then in a 30-minute stint, they get out of it. Unless it was continued. You know.
Yeah, they had a few of those, didn't they?
They did.
They had a few of those.
They did.
Like you said, you go on and on about Blanche.
You really could.
There was a couple others, and I won't go long on them. There was one where the actor, where she hugged that debonair actor and hugged him, and she had balloons for bazunkas in there, and she hugged him, and they popped. Oh, that was embarrassing. He was like, "Isn't it busted?" Boom, boom. Dorothy looked out. She was like, "What happened?
What happened?"
And another one was I like when they were reminiscing. They'd have the reminisce shows that would just be their heads in the bed. So their chemistry was on point.
Oh yeah,
you could not go wrong watching them. And both our hubby hubs, they don't appreciate the Golden Girls much. They are totally missing out.
Yes.
Because that is a good time. You don't have to be on vacation. You can just pop it in a day you're sad or whatever. A day you just want to laugh, like healthy chuckle.
Yeah.
The Golden Girls will provide that.
They will. Yeah. And then effortlessly take you back to one of our favorite times.
Yes.
It's just back in the 80s. I mean, immediately. Style, everything. You're transported, which we love that.
It's a much better time. It really was.
So cool.
Man, it would be neat to be adults in the 80s, because it was great being kids in the 80s.
Yes.
But we might not have liked it as much if we were adults in the 80s. So
right.
There is that clause. We are looking at it from a youthful perspective.
Because we'd go, man, this fashion's bad, but what do we do?
The moon is hanging awful low in the sky tonight, isn't it, Busty?
It sure is, Biff.
It makes me want to kiss you, Josie.
Oh, mind your manners, Biff. While we at the 4th of July picnic, the whole town is here.
To hell with this town. Come away with me.
But you're a drifter, Biff. I can't just pull up stakes and run off with you.
Please reconsider, Josie. You're the prettiest girl in the county. I need to have your answer now. What's it going to be?
I want you to take me, Biff. Oh.
Holy God, what are you showing me? Come on!
Well, probably need to tie this discussion up about Blanche, but we go more into depth on her in our episode, the actual episode at the end of our season of the Golden Girls. So if you want some more insights, more intel about what she offered along with her 3 roomies, give us a listen. Check it out. Well, the last thing that was sad that Blanche was played by Rue McClanahan, and she actually was the youngest, was it biologically the youngest of the girls, and she was born in 1934, but she ended up dying in May, on Memorial Day of 2010.
Yeah.
So I guess she had a massive, but it was a painless stroke that she had. I guess they found her or whatever. So she was 76 years old when she died. So, we're so glad that we have the memories of Blanche as well as the other ladies.
Yeah.
We could just pop those buddies in and tune in for a good time. We thank her so much for all the wonderful times and the laughs. You will be missed, Blanche.
And that's it for this week's Apple Snack. But as you know, there's always more where that came from. So stay tuned. Subscribe, rate, and spread the word. See you next time in the Retro Orchard. And thanks so much for listening.